So welcome to my very untidy studio. I'm just going to make up 4 bouquets today and take down to this local service station where we sell. I've got the conditioner in the buckets and everything. You'll see everything gets wrapped with a sachet of flower food. It's just a really, really hot time, the hottest time of our year. So got to take that into account. And some of these flowers don't last well in the heat, such as dahlias. Let's make some bouquets. When I'm making bouquets, normally what I will start with is the main head first. So we might go with proteas today. Got some here. It's a South African flower, but they grow so well in Australia that many people think they're an Australian native, but they're not. So I will usually start with the main head and start building around it. These are $35 bouquets, so they're quite small. So I will just start pulling out flowers. And as I said before, I leave foliage on the dahlias, and I'm starting to cross those stems over at the back. Spiraling, you can just keep moving around, but I will in the end just be crisscrossing. I'm going to move all these flowers. I'll move all these flowers in front of me so I'm not looking back all the time. I will be crisscrossing. So what I'm trying to do today is put some flowers, some really long lasting stuff, medium lasting, and then the short lasting flowers in as well. I really love feverfew, and it separates the flowers so you can see them. So we'll put a few more dahlias in. I've got a whole heap of first prize. If you haven't grown this, it lasts so well in the heat, and it has a really good vase life. These little buds here, they'll fully open up. That one's already open. This one will fully open. That one will probably open as well in the vase. So you can sort of say to your customers, as the heads die off, like these heads, you can just cut them off. But because they're a ball, the spent petals will just be hidden up behind it. So they're really, really good. I'm going to put a piece of amaranth. Just check with your amaranth that the leaves aren't chewed up. Every leaf except one was chewed up on that. And I know it's really nice to have those pretty leaves in the bouquet, but if they're chewed up, pull them off. Don't put them in your bouquet. It's going to make things look messy and a bit yuck. I'm keeping this bouquet fairly warm toned. It's a little bit darker. I'll just pop a couple of zinnias in. They're nice and long lasting. And I want another little bit of foliage. I've got some dahlia foliage, which I talked about earlier, that I'll use in a bouquet. Just put that, where will I put it? I just want to put it somewhere it's going to frame everything. So even though I've spiraled the bouquet down here, I will have a look at the top and move things around. So sometimes you just want to reposition which way a flower is facing. Sometimes you want to change the height of a flower. You just have a look and make sure everything looks good. I feel like we need one more little piece of feverfew in there, and that is our $35 bouquet. I do cut stems off at this stage. I just find it much easier to wrap, especially when you end up with really, really long stems. So I'll just go cut those. For these farm style bouquets, like I found another yucky piece. For these farm style bouquets, I keep the wrapping pretty simple. So often I'll just use a white wrap and then a piece of printed craft. I have lots of videos on this. Basically, you want to fold your paper over into mountain peaks like this. You crunch it down here on the stems and roll it around. We're not doing it too tight, we're keeping it pretty crunched up. You can pull the little peaks out a little bit to give it some space. And for my $35 bouquets, I do 2 pieces of paper, and I'll just stagger the mountain peaks now. So that second piece will go around. I squeeze it at the bottom to make everything fan out, and then that is wrapped. When I'm selling the farm style bouquets, I just wrap them in with twine, tie them up. Reason being, if you put ribbons and things on it, you really have to then pin everything up in here so it doesn't get wrecked in the water and get wet, whereas the twine doesn't matter too much if it's wet. And then I will put my logo with my business details on absolutely everything and a flower food sachet. And I put it here because when somebody puts the flowers down to open it up and pull it off, they can see very easily there's a flower food sachet there, and hopefully they'll take the time to put that in their water because it will extend the vase life of the flowers, especially at a time of year where it's so hot like this. Let's make another one. Okay, so I'm going to do protea again. I'm going to put a protea in each of them just because it's so hot and proteas will hold really well, but let's do a brighter one this time, more orange sort of tones. So I'm going to put, I might leave that one actually because it doesn't have, oops, looks like it's gonna wilt. Okay. So marigolds, I've mentioned in another video, if you take all the foliage off the stems, they don't have that really full-on pungent smell anymore, and it makes it a little bit more bearable. I mean, I like the smell of marigolds, but many people don't. And you don't want to be making bouquets that are going to leave people with a bad impression just because of a simple thing like the scent. So I'm just building around this protea. I'm going to pull that bit of amaranth out, put it at the front. I've changed my mind on that one. And I've got my dahlias. So I have a really, 2 fairly closed ones. What I might do, I've got a really opened one and then one that's on its way to be opening, just to stagger that a little bit. Add some feverfew in, which I like to refer to as twinkles because they look like little twinkles, don't you think? They're cute. And let's add a little bit of zinnia. Might put that at the back there. And that's our bouquet. For a $35 bouquet, I'm trying not to put any more than $10 worth of flowers in. It can get really tricky, especially as the price of flowers are going up. It's getting harder and harder to make these $35 bouquets. But as we grew them all, I purchased these from a farm, the proteas from a farm up the road. As I grew them all, it's not as bad, but come winter, you'll watch what I do. Wait till winter and then you can watch what I do with the bouquets to try to actually make a profit. So we're ready to wrap? Oh no, we're not. We've got to trim the stems. I'm pretty much trimming the length of the shortest stem. You want to make sure all the stems are going to make it into the water. Let's wrap. Mountain peaks. Make sure that paper is fanning out. It's not crunching in on the flowers too much. The white just really makes those colours pop. The other thing about this twine is you don't want the ends to hang down and dangle too low, just because they are going to end up in the water and they could get wet. So that's pretty good. I try to cut them. If I haven't measured this out at a good length, I'll just trim them so they don't dangle down. Okay, next one we're going to do another protea. This is a different variety. It's a very pale one. So let's work on doing like a real pinky pale bouquet this time. And you can see that I've got, you know, I don't have a whole big variety of flowers today. But you don't really need to. And the thing that you can just remind yourself is, I'm going to take that leaf off. It's a bit yucky looking. Just remind yourself, majority of people are only buying one bouquet. So if you've got, even if you've just made every single bouquet the exact same, they only need to buy one. But the reason I like to do different bouquets out of the same flowers basically is because I feel like it increases your chances of making a sale, because people have an option. If people don't like an orange dahlia, I've got other color dahlias in other bouquets. So it kind of increases my chances that I'm making a sale. So that's why I do it. Actually going to put, so this is Yackandandah. I bought these as well from our local native flower farm. I want to try and keep this one fairly soft. So I think I'll put these nice soft colours in. Will I put another Luke in there? Yeah, looks good down there. Oh, the other thing is, wherever you're holding the bouquet is roughly where you're going to tie it later on. You want to make sure there's no leaves or you know, extra matter other than stems below where you're holding it. So if when you pop your piece in, if there's leaves below where you're holding, just take them off, because it does make the water, it'll send your water off quicker. This dahlia is called Atlantic Jewels. Isn't that a really pretty name? I'm going to put her over this side. A little bit more. Oops. Feverfew. I can feel those leaves are in my way a little bit. And I've got one of these Queen Lime. What are they called? Zinnias. Oh, actually I've got two. I've got another one, so I'll pop her in as well. And you can see today, like if you watch one of my videos from the winter bouquet making, or, you know, in the future, if you subscribe, follow along, I will be making more bouquets. When I show you the winter, the way I do it in winter, typically because we're buying our flowers in winter, it's really hard for us to grow flowers here through the winter. We don't have heated tunnels or anything like that. you'll notice that I use more foliage, but the summer flowers have a lot of foliage, especially the dahlias. So I don't really feel the need to add extra foliage in. I would add a little bit of, where is it? Wow, I just hung some fresh, now I can't find it. I just hung some fresh eucalyptus and it was a real pretty grey colour. But now I don't know where I've hung it. And I was going to pull it out and put it in this bouquet. No, that one's, no. I don't know where I put it. Because that would actually look really good in this bouquet. I could nick outside and grab some. But it's just so hot. Do I want to do that? No, because there's grass under it and there'll be snakes. What I'll do instead is just put another flower in. I mean, I've got heaps of dahlias. These are called Venetian. They're so pretty. I might put one of those in. This one's got too much foliage though. Get some of that off. We'll just put her over here. Okay, so now it's very bulky. It looks a bit like I've put too much in there, but it's fine. The reality is, I've got so many flowers at the moment, I would pick fresh for tomorrow anyway, so I may as well use these. Okay, let's wrap. I'll do white again for this one. Mountain peaks. Wrap it around, make sure it's fanning. Fanning it out makes it look bigger. These little sachets are the Fleur Vital ones. If you're in Australia, you can get them at APAC. And they've got the instructions on the back if people don't know what to do. So sometimes I will even put the sachet that way out. Isn't this so pretty? Make this last bouquet. I have this one Protea. I don't actually know what variety this is, but it's got a big dark fluffy center in it. It's pretty interesting. It actually feels like a woolen blanket, to be honest. I'm tossing up if I dry it. I wonder if it'll fall apart. That's just so pretty. I'm gonna keep it. I like looking at it. Okay, so the last one is just a mix. I've probably got enough to make 5, like to make another 2 bouquets. But let's just see how we go here. So at this point, I am just making a mixed colour bouquet because that's got too much foliage. A mixed colour bouquet, just because that's what I've kind of got left over. And that's just what happens, like towards the end of bouquet making, just the way I do it. I end up with just bits and pieces left over. So then I just start making multicolored bouquets. And when I used to make lots and lots of bouquets every day, we used to sell roadside. And I'd make up fresh bouquets every day to go out roadside, or most days. The last ones that I made that were just the random mix always were the first to sell. So I think people really enjoyed the mix of flowers, like seeing little different bits and pieces. You see these marigolds, they just, look at the little pops of colour. Don't they look cute? All right, what else have we got? Let's put this zinnia in. Or do we do the yellow? Well, actually, I'll probably do one more bouquet. I might leave that zinnia. But how are we feeling about this? You know, it's okay right now, but it's going to look amazing once it's... what's the word? It's going to look amazing when it's I keep going to say folded. I don't really need to add that in, but I'm going to. I think we'll just do white again. I almost always do white with craft for these bouquets. The only problem with it is I've made it way too big because I kept putting things in. I think I need to pull some stuff out, which sometimes you can do afterwards, and I'll pull that out. So anything that you're not going to miss it if it's gone, I think I'll leave that. But I do have to be careful because otherwise in winter, people expect lots and lots of flowers in their bouquets, and we just can't do it. Let's do one more. I'm just going to use up dahlias at this point. Gosh, there's a spider. Oh, is it on me? Oh, I'm going to get out of here. It'll run up my leg. Oh, gross. It makes me feel like I want to vomit. Let me just check myself. Can anybody see the spider? Okay, I'm going to go off camera and take my shirt off. I'm back and I don't think it's on me. If you don't live in Australia, yes, we have so many spiders, and yes, it's horrible. I don't know why they've got to be here. I went to New Zealand years ago. They have no spiders and no snakes. Why do they all have to come here? Like, it's like all the spiders and all the snakes in the whole world decide they want to be here. Oh, so gross. I'm usually okay with spiders, but when they get on me, I'm not very okay. So I have no clue in the world where it just went. I don't even know if I flicked it into these bouquets. All I know is I just want to get out of here. Where did I throw the flowers that I was using? What happened to that flower that I was holding? You know what? I'm going around to the other side of the table. And I'm not putting my apron back on. Oh, but now I feel so crawly about everything. I just really hate it. I don't even remember which one it was I picked up, because did it end up back in the bucket? So I'm having a heart attack, so I can't, I'm not even talking you through these flowers now. We're just getting it done. It's so horrible. I try to be brave, but when you've got a spider in your finger, it's really hard to be brave. Okay, that'll do. I'm just gonna, I've lost interest. Now I have to enter the spider zone. Keep watch for me. So that's done. Take them down to the servo now, and I will go and deliver this bouquet. Thanks for watching again. Hope to see you next time. Bye.